Evening, everybody. I'll declare the meeting open at 6 p.m. Special council meeting will be video recorded and the recording published on the Shire of Dundas website. The Shire of Dundas acknowledges the Nudgee and Mirning as traditional custodians in the Shire of Dundas and pay our respects to their elders past and present. I am the only person attending remotely. Item 2, do we have any financial interests?
Nil.
Any proximity?
Nil.
Any impartiality?
Nil.
Any gifts?
Nil.
Thank you. We have an apology from Councillor Holman. Don't appear to have a public gallery, so you won't have any questions unless someone's written any. Item 5, we don't have any petitions, deputations or presentations. I have no announcements. Item 7, 7.1, support for funding applications, staff and community housing. Councillors, we have a revised officer recommendation for that item. Somebody like to move that recommendation?
I'll move that.
Councillor Warner,
Yeah.
and second?
I'll second it.
Councillor McLeod, thank you. I would like to move that we suspend Standing Order 12.4, which is the limitation of the number of speeches, so that we can open up for discussion. If anybody has any questions, needs any clarification, anybody would like to discuss further. So do I have somebody to second that we suspend the standing orders?
Second it.
Is that Councillor McLeod?
Yeah.
Thank you. Those in favour? Thank you. Okay, Councillor Warner, would you like to speak to that recommendation?
No.
Councillor McLeod?
No, thank you.
Does anybody have any questions, or would anybody like any clarification on any part of that business case, the item? Anybody have anything to say?
No.
Okay. I will have a word then. Mr. CEO, you can correct me if I'm wrong. So what we're trying to do is get some more housing for staff and also community, because it's very difficult to get loans for houses in town. We need more staff accommodation. We need some more community accommodation as well. This proposal would help out in a few respects, in as far as lowering our depreciation on our buildings that we already have. Makes the bottom line look a bit better. And we should be able to service that with that rolling credit type situation, where we build some and then sell some and then retain some. So we've got new staff accommodation and community accommodation, and we can build on that further as we go. Is that kind of in the rough area where we're at?
Yeah, if I may, through the chair. So exactly right. So what it's doing is, if councillors can remember the last year about this time when Russell came and had the rates discussion, we're paying off our loan this year. And without a loan, technically, we're not really sustainable. It's weird, but that's the explanation given by the accountants to us. The benefit for us is it'll free up our cash for the Main Street. right? So that'll leave more cash to buy, build than the Main Street without. We're doing funding applications for the Main Street, but in case we're not successful, that'll give us more cash to carry on with the Main Street. Secondly, as 2 of these houses will go to the community up for sale through an expression of interest process, and 2 will be remaining as council staff housing. We will be bringing an item to council for endorsement in the future to sell off some of our old stock, because we got 10 blocks and there's 75 more that's going to come up for auction. And when those ones come up, we'll put an item back to council, hoping that council will endorse, that council retains some of those 75 blocks so that we can continue on with the renewal of the assets. Like I say in the last email I sent, there hasn't been a new house other than Grove and 17 Mildura in the last 40 years. So there's no stock. Every week we get people ringing, asking, and they look on real estate and it's just an old shack and they don't have the capability of fixing or time to put a new house on the market. A couple of things will happen, and we've demonstrated that over the last 8 years. The terminal building should push the house prices up. The camping town pushed the Woodland Centre. Redeveloping the laundromat has pushed the average house price from 35,000 8 years to 190 to 200,000 average. So what this will do, that'll keep that trend up. So what will happen in the future is it'll put some equity into your buildings. And once we get to the 250, 300 bracket, you can start then knocking on banks' doors again for loans for houses. But this is another way of doing it. It'll create jobs. We'll buy the paint through the village grocer, the tiles, the doors, everything will come through the village grocer. So in a roundabout way, a lot of this will come back into council's revolving credit. We're not getting contractors in other than plumbing and electricians. It'll be built in town like we did with the terminal building. Does that make sense?
Okay. Can I also clarify that if we're not successful with the funding from the WATC, then the whole thing goes on hold until we do get funding?
Yep, 100%
So we
council.
won't be reading anywhere on Facebook that it's going to cost ratepayers this, that, and all sorts of things. Because if we don't get the funding, then the project will be on hold until we do get funding.
If I may through the chair, the WTC wants this information before the end of the month. That's why the rush we're on. I was away a couple of days, and we all were away a couple of days, and a couple of things. So that's why it's a bit of a rush item. And a couple of amendments that's come through late because we've got a whole team and Treasury revising this as we go. So, yes, if it fails, it'll just have to be put on hold until next time Treasury opens up for requests for funding. And they do it every year.
Okie doke. Would anybody like to speak against it? Anybody have any other questions raised from any of that? Okay. We have a recommendation that Council 1 support the progression of the proposed Norseman Housing Development Project, comprising 4 modular dwellings intended to assist with staff and key worker accommodation within the Shire of Dundas. 2, note the estimated project value of approximately 1.07 million, including approximately 760,000 proposed through WATC loan funding and approximately 28% Shire contribution through in-kind works, project management, procurement capability and operational support. 3, recognise the ongoing housing shortage as a significant constraint impacting workforce attraction and retention, local government service delivery, economic development, essential services capability and long-term community sustainability within the Shire of Dundas. 4, acknowledge that the proposal represents a strategic workforce and community infrastructure investment rather than a purely commercial housing development, with the primary objective being the improvement of workforce stability and regional sustainability outcomes. 5, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to progress discussions with the Western Australian Treasury Corporation, finalise and submit relevant funding and loan applications, continue detailed project planning and cost validation, and undertake associated discussions with funding agencies, consultants and relevant stakeholders. Those in favour? Thank you. We will call the next special meeting of council as required. There is no further business, so I'll declare the meeting closed at 6:10 p.m. Thank you, everybody.